Welcome into Steelers Talk Yinzers. My name is Jack Sperry. I will be your host today. Today, I'm going to be revealing the two Steelers that are going to make or break the Steelers season in 2023. It doesn't matter who they draft. Doesn't matter who they get in free agency. These two players are going to decide the fate, in my opinion, of the Pittsburgh Steelers, not only in 2023, but for the years to come. So before I reveal those two names, I want to set a little bit of a foundation here. Because the Steelers have a very good foundation in place, in my opinion, guys. They have an excellent head coach, in my estimation, in Mike Tomlin. Now, I know some of you don't like Mike Tomlin. I personally do. I think that he's extremely effective. I think at the very least, you have to say that he wins in the regular season. He gets his teams to a competitive level year in and year out, really like Mike Tomlin as a head coach. And then, of course, they have elite defensive talent as well. You got guys like TJ Watt, Cam Heyward, Alex Highsmith, Minkah Fitzpatrick. All those guys, year in and year out, are candidates to make the All-Pro team. Like, you got four guys like that, your defense is going to be pretty good. Plus, they've added guys like Pat Pete. They might be even adding some more really good players via free agency and the draft. So your defense is really, really good. And then also, you have enough offensive weaponry for you to be a good football team, especially with that defensive talent. Guys like Diontae Johnson, George Pickens, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, and of course Kenny Pickett should be enough to get the job done for you, not only in 2023, but for years to come. You've got some really great young talent. You've got good veteran presence as well. You got good leadership in the locker room. There's no reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers shouldn't be good in 2023 and really compete for an AFC North title, even though they share this division with the Cincinnati Bengals, and we know how good they can be as well. First X factor here for me is Kenny Pickett himself, the quarterback, entering his sophomore season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Kenny Pickett, man, I think that he's a really good player. I think that he's got a bright future. I'm going to be breaking down his pros and his cons, what might hold him back in just a second. But first, let me know in the comment section, will Kenny Pickett be a top 10 quarterback in 2023? So that'd be quite a bit of a jump. That's approaching star level right there. Will he make that sophomore leap? Type Y for yes or type N for no. This is the pinned comment on today's show. So whenever you get an ad break, go out into the comment section, find that pinned comment. It'll be right there at the top, and answer today's question. So obviously, guys, we know this. Kenny Pickett, he's entering his second year as an NFL quarterback. This year's going to be crucial for him because, man, he's not getting any younger, man. He's getting older. He was already an older quarterback when he got drafted. And the thing about older quarterbacks is that their leash is a lot shorter. You need to be able to play in the National Football League and fast. And the AFC right now, to be frank as well, is just too talented to just be okay at quarterback. Kenny Pickett, in order for the Steelers to have success in this league, They need to have some really good quarterback play, and if he falls short of that, guys like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, if he stays in Baltimore, Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills, Justin Herbert, man, he's going to be so good for so long. And then, of course, Aaron Rodgers is expected to join the New York Jets this offseason. This isn't even counting guys like Trevor Lawrence, right? Maybe Russell Wilson returns to his old status with Sean Payton as his head coach. Maybe Deshaun Watson gets back to his old self. We don't know, man. This is a loaded conference right now, and Kenny Pickett needs to show up if the Steelers are going to be good heading into the future. In just a second here, I am going to let you know the pros and cons of Kenny Pickett's game, what he needs to improve heading into his sophomore year. But first, make sure that you are subscribed to Steelers Talk for daily Steelers content here on YouTube, guys. We got it all. We got NFL mock drafts. We got player analysis. We got free agency analysis, breaking news coverage every time the Steelers make a move. We are the most comprehensive Steelers channel here on YouTube. We're also the fastest growing. Added over 1,000 subs last week. We're doing a fantastic job here at Steelers Talk, and that's because of you guys. So do me a favor right now. If you're new to the channel, haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button for me right now. So the thing with Kenny Pickett is I think he has the potential to compete in the AFC. I think that he has what it takes to become a Super Bowl level quarterback in the National Football League, and this was evidenced by what he showed me last season. Now, I was a bit skeptical on Kenny Pickett when he came into the league, but as the season went on, he really grew on me. This is the stuff that I like in Kenny Pickett's game. He showed at the end of the year that he is extremely poised, in the biggest situations, and he can deliver game-winning touchdowns against good defenses, man. Like, this guy's a clutch performer. He's got ice water in his veins. He's not scared of the moment. And that really, guys, like, you can have all the talent in the world. You can be a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who has all the talent in the world. Some people say you're the most talented thrower of the football ever. Won Super Bowl championship because he just can't get it done in the playoffs. I think Kenny Pickett is the type of guy that can get it done in the playoffs, just like Big Ben Roethlisberger did throughout his career. And then playmaking ability. Some of his best reps on film last year, guys, are outside of structure, outside of the pocket, making plays, on the run. He throws a fantastic ball on the run. This is definitely a strength of his, and it's probably his greatest strength, and one of the reasons why he can certainly be a franchise quarterback. Then he's got pretty darn good accuracy, man, to all levels of the field. Deep ball accuracy in his first couple starts was really a concern, but he really, really ramped it up. He was really accurate to the deep part of the field in the later portion of the season. Really encouraged by that, and I'm excited to see if he can keep that accuracy going heading into his sophomore season. Then also, he's a great leader. He's the type of guy that you want leading your locker room and being the face of your franchise. That's another thing that I really like about him. And then again, that second half improvement was major. He was throwing interceptions. He was making poor decisions. He wasn't processing, shifting coverages, all these different things. But he improved drastically by the end of the season, where he led this team on a great winning streak and almost landed this team in the playoffs. I really think that he can be a good quarterback in this league, but two things can be true at once, guys. That really can. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. There's a lot to like about Kenny Pickett's game. I just detailed the things that I really like about him. But on the other hand, it's also my job to let you know what I see on film and the negatives that I see and the things that he can still improve on as he heads into his sophomore season. And there are some things that he definitely does need to work on, but I think they're relatively fixable. The thing that's going to be the toughest thing to fix is the pocket presence. Now, pocket presence can be the difference for some of these guys in the league, like Derek Carr. Terrible pocket presence, has never been able to get to that next level from good to great. Jared Goff is another guy. He needs a clean pocket in order to operate. He doesn't like pressure in his face. Neither does Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett leaves clean pockets. Like he does some things where he doesn't step up in the pocket too. Like this is a serious concern. And if he doesn't fix it, he might not be able to reach that great level. He can probably be a good quarterback with the way that it currently is, the way it was at the end of last season. But if he wants to really become like that all-pro, Pro Bowl level quarterback that's constantly doing it over the next 2 decades or, decade and a half, whatever, he's going to have to learn how to step up in the pocket, maneuver the pocket, feel pressure, because right now it's not necessarily good enough to be like that highest caliber of quarterback in the National Football League. Then throwing over the middle of the field versus zone coverage. Big time issue with me, guys. Like when it was zone coverage, he would almost exclusively look to the outside. And this is one of the main reasons why Chase Claypool just didn't have a whole lot of production when he was with the Steelers last year, because he was in the slot and he was running in-breaking routes at a time where defenses were usually running mostly zone against Kenny Pickett, and he just wouldn't throw it there. Now, he did get better at this as the season went on, but he still needs to take some steps there, because targeting the middle of the field is extremely important when it comes to getting to that next level and being one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. And then there are some arm strength limitations, okay? Like he can't make every throw in the book. Like he's not a Trevor Lawrence. He's not an Aaron Rodgers. Okay, that's not who he is, but that's okay. He needs to master the game a little bit more than some of these other guys with really powerful arms. He's going to have to really get the footwork down. He's going to have to get the mental processing down. He's going to have to improve his pocket presence, because plain simply, he just doesn't have as much wiggle room as some of these other guys that can buy time for themselves with their arms. Like Kenny Pickett is about a league average arm, maybe slightly below average. And, although it's enough to get the job done, he can be a starter in this league. He needs to master some of the other elements of the game to really ascend to that top tier in the National Football League. So at the end of all of it here, this is where I'm at with Kenny Pickett. I believe Kenny Pickett has what it takes to be a Super Bowl caliber quarterback in this league with the right help. If he has a good run game, if he has good receivers around him, a good offensive line, a good defense, and a good head coach, this guy can win a Super Bowl for you, because I think that he's got ice water in his veins. He's a clutch performer. He's not afraid of the moment, and he can deliver big throws in the biggest of moments. I'm not sure if he's the type of talent that can carry a team, like maybe a Trevor Lawrence will be able to in the future, like an Aaron Rodgers has had to do, like Lamar Jackson has had to do, like a Mahomes could probably do, like Joe Burrow. Like there's some of those guys that can literally carry a team. But I don't think Kenny Pickett's that guy. I think the Steelers are going to have to do a good job surrounding him with talent. If they do that, I think they give them one hell of an opportunity for Kenny Pickett to have an extremely successful career that gives him a chance to hoist multiple Lombardi trophies throughout his career, even in a loaded AFC. Now, the thing is, guys, Kenny Pickett is not going to have success. This team is not going to have success unless Matt Canada steps up his game moving forward. Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, plain and simply was just not very good as an offensive play caller last season, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think right now before I get into the details of Matt Canada and what he needs to fix about his offense. Give me your confidence level in the guy right now. Scale it 1 to 10. Right now, I'm at about, I don't know, a 5 or a 6. I like the fact, I'm going to tell you the things that I like and the things that I'm hopeful about here in just a second. But, I mean, based on what it was like last year, it just wasn't very good in my opinion. Get your answer down in the comment section for me. Here are my issues with Matt Canada and his offense. He uses a ton of outdated concepts, like a ton. Like this offense exists in 2010. Like this is a basic offense in 2010. Like this is not good enough when it comes to NFL football when you got the Shanahans running loose, Sean Payton running loose, Andy Reid. I mean, you got so many great offensive minds that are just doing their thing. And then you have Matt Canada that's running an offense that's literally a decade old. And it just doesn't work anymore. Teams have already figured out how to beat these kinds of concepts. And I just think that it needs a major, major upgrade and some serious modernization. And then the play calls are too simplistic and predictable. There was multiple teams last year that said that they knew what the Steelers were running before they even snapped the football. That is unacceptable. You have to have versatility in your sets. You have to have certain formations. You have to run multiple plays out of those formations, because if you don't do that, if you run only one play out of a certain formation, teams are going to find that on tape, and they're going to exploit it in the game. That happened multiple times with multiple different plays for the Steelers last year. Need more versatility in their sets. And then finally, the offense never really hit a major stride in 2022. Yes, it got a little bit better towards the end of the season, particularly on third down. But remember the Raiders game? Remember how terrible the offense was for almost the entire game? I mean, Derek Carr played maybe the worst game of football I've ever seen in my entire adult life. And they still almost lost. They needed a heroic final drive from Kenny Pickett with that awesome moment to George Pickens there for the touchdown to save it. And plain and simply, the offense just wasn't good enough. You look at the Super Bowl, extremely high-scoring game, even with two pretty darn good defenses. In order to win a championship in this league, particularly in a high-flying AFC conference, you need an offense that can put up 30-plus points a night. Okay, on any given night against any certain defense. And plain simply, like the Steelers struggled to get to 20 last year. And that just can't be the case. They need to improve heading into 2023. And because of all these three things, Canada needs to evolve. He cannot go with the same offensive structure that he had in 2023. He just can't. He needs to evolve. He needs to get better. He needs to introduce some more modern concepts, and he needs to adapt. Now, it seems like the Steelers are attempting to do some sort of adapting. Now, last year, the Steelers shifted to more power run schemes towards the end of the year, and it really seemed to work. Najee Harris really seems to be a natural power back, and I think that's where they're shifting to now. You look at the signing of Nate Herbig and Isaac Seumalo, two excellent power blockers. I think that shifting to that power run scheme is going to be something that's really, really good for the Steelers moving forward. And I think that's going to be pretty sustainable for the Steelers trying to bring that smash mouth level of football back, that blue collar football back to the city of Bridges. Then you got Kenny Pickett, who had some really great second half improvements. And now he has an entire offseason with his guys to get better, to work on his footwork, to work on his mental processing, all this stuff that he needs to improve on. He has a full offseason with his guys to get better. And I given the improvement he made in the season, I have all the confidence in the world that he's going to be able to do that in year two. And then finally, the offensive talent here is pretty darn good. Diontae Johnson, some Steelers fans give him a bad rep, but he's one of the best route runners in the National Football League. He catches a ton of balls. He gets a lot of first downs for the Steelers. Of course, you got Pat Freiermuth, George Pickens, Najee Harris, and of course the revamped offensive line, the picket fence, as people are starting to call it. I really think that the offensive talent is enough here to make it work. Now that last factor is going to be, can Kenny Pickett get it done and can Matt Canada get it done? Those two factors are going to decide how good the Steelers are in 2023. So my final conclusion here, after this long ramble, this long rant here essentially that I've been going on here, is that Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada are the catalysts for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If one of these guys or both of these guys can't figure it out next year, this offense isn't going to be good. Plain simply. They have the pieces around them, sure, but if Canada doesn't improve his offensive structure and Kenny Pickett can't elevate his game to become a really good player that can compete with some of these star quarterbacks in the AFC, the Steelers just aren't going to be able to compete for championships. That's just the flat truth of it. And I really am optimistic. Now, Canada, I'm a bit more worried than I am about Pickett. But I think if both of these guys get their shit together here, this team's going to be really darn good in 2023. So let me know in the comments section, how confident are you? Will the Pittsburgh Steelers be a Super Bowl contender in 2023? Type hell yes or hell no in the comments section right now. Can't wait to see how confident you guys are in your Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, so make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Like I said before, guys, we are the fastest growing Steelers channel here on YouTube. That is for a reason. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. Try it out for a week here. If you don't like the stuff that we put out here, you can go ahead and unsubscribe. But I promise you guys, spend a week here on Steelers Talk. Join our family here of awesome Yinzers. You're not going to want to leave.